Journalists saw huge Madigan, this time completely justified. The CEO of Space Marine 2 said that he just wanted to make a game that is for people who play games, focus on being just a game that is fun to game, while saying he didn't want to make a game that forces moralizing and compels speech like 99% of AAA slop today. But 99% compliance is not enough when your ideology is so patently repulsive that even the people who praise it refuse to play the games. Showing a little bit of disobedience to corporate games media tyranny is the spark they don't want. And what a spark it has been this year, completely turning the games industry on its head as great games come out every other week, and DEI-infused activist garbage flops left and right. A little bit of rebellion turns into a lot of rebellion, and the nightmare of the censorship-loving games journalists is bearing fruit. Every time someone speaks out in favor of good games, every time someone points out journalist lies and isn't silenced by social media, every time gamers get a good game, they lose a bit more of their power, and they are losing their minds. They were put in place to report on what is happening in the industry, and ended up thinking they were what was happening in the industry. They didn't want to report on the news, but become the news, and the genie is out of the bottle. Everyone sees what they have been doing. We know that AAA studios are infested with ideology, and gamers are sick of it. It's not just some content creators and anons on social media now saying things that dare to defy the media aristocracy, but professionals who risk censure, blacklisting, whisper network targeting, and journalists looking up information on their home, job, wife, and kids to intimidate them. Even though momentum might look like it is picking up due to public sentiment, it is incredibly important to remember the public never cancels anyone. All cancellations are either self-induced or through a corporation run by woke cultists using disciplinary measures such as blacklists, suspensions, or some form of interference. Even if 99% of the audience is against a cancellation, if the woke Karen in a social media corporation bans your account, or your woke manager demands your DEI obedience, you can be removed regardless. Do not force moral messaging into games. Don't use DEI departments to control dev creativity. Just make great games. That's all that was said, but that is a complete repudiation of their entire dogma. Space Marine 2 has been well received, is selling well, and it is clear that the studio went into the project with the right mindset. Let us make a game that 1. Is fun to play as a game, and 2. Feels like a game set in Warhammer 40k. In any other era, this would have been the bare minimum starting point for a game. No game pitch in the 2000s succeeds with, I want to make a fun game that looks like the IP it is based off. But today, that is like the Renaissance discovering the advanced civilization of the Roman Empire after centuries of dark ages filled with plagues, hedonistic filthy peasants, endless wars, greedy nobles, brutal taxation mismanaged by fat elites. You know, nothing like today. And religious torture of the heretical agents of chaos. Burn the heretics and send them to their false gods for the Emperor of mankind.